How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Adam, and in today's episode we're going to continue on with starting a garden from scratch. So I got my garden supervisor here, old Max, with me. He's raring to go as always. Oh, thanks, buddy. So we are on to day number 3 here, working on the garden. We're working on the front corn rows and the middle potato beds. So we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna get this video on the go, and he's gonna rummage around and see what he can find on the ground. Alright, so ultimately what I'm doing here, this is the first bed that I've got pretty much all good to go for the corn. Just got to come in and do a little bit more tilling, but ultimately what I'm doing is I'm taking this 5 or 6 prong rake, and I'm just coming up and cutting into the soil a little bit just to get that first little bit of grass and greenery taken care of, so it's easier with the rake. So I'll come in, I'll break this up for the first little bit, get that root system and that root bed for the grass all torn up, and then I'll come back in and then I'll rake it up into a pile, keep going back over it, and eventually it'll look like the rest of the bed here. You can see the difference here. This still has some grass and some roots in it, as opposed to up here on the front part of the bed right here, where it's just no grass, no roots, just good for planting. Just got to make some rows or furrows, and we're good to go. The tongs that I have here for what I'm using as my tiller, they're all bent up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and straighten these out to where it's a little bit more easier for me to use. Each of these go into the bottom here, and they just fit in. And as you can see, they're getting a little bent up from all the sod work that's there. So you can see how it's starting to look there, way out of whack, way out of kilter. So we'll get these all taken care of, and hopefully a little bit straighter than they are. All right, well, we got her a little bit straightened up there. It's not quite the best that it's going to be, but this is one of the tools that I'm using to claw and to rip into the ground, kind of as a tiller. So we're going to go see how the little bit of improvements works there. A couple of the teeth and the tongs there, they're just spun right around over the years of use. So it looks better than it was. Probably do a little bit more better action than it did before. Better. Definitely working better. All right, so ultimately I've been just using these 3 pieces of equipment right here. You've seen me use this is that 5-tong kind of tiller device here that you see. Works really, really well. teeth need to be fixed up still a little bit. The only problem with this is the dirt and the wet grass and everything gets stuck there. Using a fan rake for the little bit of stone, and then just a regular rake. Here we are, you can start to see the outline of the potato bed. So all kinds of rocks, just been using the big rake to get rid of the rocks. So we're on the starting processes to get the middle bed looking like this front bed right here. How it is just looking fabulous with the dark gray soil. Lots of work, but we're slowly getting there. As you see, there's a nice rock pile on this part up here where the potatoes are gonna go. The good thing is, all down here, those are just piles of straw and hay that I got from the field here. So it's actually a blessing in disguise. There's another one kicking around right there. What I'll do with those is when I plant my potatoes in rows along here, I'll use those and all the straw that I have left over as row covers, so it'll be able to retain the moisture a little bit better and get ultimately a healthier potato. Got our supervisor on guard over there. Ultimately, using just hand tools, it's going to take a lot longer than if I were to have a tiller or some sort of machinery come in here and do this. So far, this is day number 3 that we've been working on it, so I'm even super stoked to get the first corn bed all pretty much good to go. From the rough calculations, I figure it'll be in and around 25 by 25. The potato bed is going to go right next to it, and I figure that'll be between 20 to 25 by 30. So we're going to have lots of potatoes, and then up from there we're going to start our in-ground and raised beds, and then we're going to mound off our melons too, going up to the right back of the garden as well. Alright, right next to each other we have an earthworm and we have a grub worm. We definitely don't want to keep these grub worms, but we definitely do want to keep the earthworms. A grub worm is just the beginning stages of a leftover larvae from last year. So if you leave it in your garden, it is going to turn into something that's just going to chew up your plants. So definitely get those out of your garden if you see them in the soil when you're doing a little bit of tilling. I've run into quite a few, and every time I do, I chuck them. So now that the spring is closer and closer, here is our garlic patch that we have overwintered. No sprigs yet, it literally just was fully unthawed the other day. So hopefully here in the next little bit we'll see some greenery poking out. Here in the back garlic patch that we overwintered, we planted somewhere in the range of 30 to 50 bulbs. So hopefully here in the next little bit we're going to see some greenery poking out through there. I believe we have 2 different kinds, some red and some white. I think one of them was maybe a Valencia, and the other one I can't quite remember. First year doing garlic, so super excited about that too as well. Alright, we're making great headway. Max is overlooking as always. Had an idea just sprouted up to me in the last little bit, cleaning up here in the where the potato bed is going to be. Lots of rocks, unfortunately, as you see right there. Little clusters of them here and there and everywhere. But I figure with this little kind of border along the garden here, I'm going to instead of putting nothing in it, I'm going to do a little test, and I'll plant some potatoes in there. So what I've been doing is just with all the clippings and the hay and everything left over from here and the first couple inches of the old grass, been putting it in a row along here. And what I'll do is when I'm ready to plant is I'll go over it, put a little bit of soil over top of it, and hopefully some potatoes will sprout out. I've been kind of interlacing the hay that you see on this side over the top of it as well. It'll be a cool little test to see if they produce any potatoes. Rock clusters everywhere, but it seems to be in only a couple spots. Good thing about the rock is gonna use those for the flower bed that's gonna go in front of the house. Little overview of everything. Potato patch, corn, we're gonna do the Three Sisters. So definitely stick along if you don't know what that is. In here is gonna be where our melons is. Going up into the greenhouse here. And then over on this side was gonna be partly of raised beds and obviously in-ground vegetables as well. So we're gonna fill up everything that you see here. Back there is where the garlic is. A little bit of snow left to go. All of this is gonna be lush green in a couple months though. So this is day number 3 of starting a vegetable garden from completely scratch. Wanted to give a little update. Tomorrow's supposed to be about 15-16 degrees. Gonna get a lot of work done. Gonna leave this video right here for right now. Muchly appreciate y'all checking it out and taking some time out of your day to stop by. This is Adam signing off for another episode here in the Future Garden. Have a blessed day. We'll see you next time. Keep that stick on the ice and your dreams only have to make sense to yourself. Woo! Cheers, y'all. Woo, woo, woo!